Back here on day 3 of the PlayStation Livecast, and I'm joined by Corey Rollins of Klei Entertainment,
Hello.
and we are going to talk about Don't Starve Together.
Yes, we are.
Where the world is out to kill you no matter what you try and do, everything is dangerous.
Everything hates you and wants you to die.
Everything wants you to die. It's a very uplifting game.
Except, hopefully, your friends don't want you to now.
Yeah, don't get in a fight with your friends right before you play this game, because
No.
then they'll want you to die too.
Absolutely.
This is a standalone multiplayer version of the original Don't Starve. So
That's
talk
right.
about some of the challenges and now bringing it out for the PS4.
Sure. I mean, honestly, it was less so much a challenge specifically for the PS4 and more so a challenge of making the game multiplayer in general. It's been quite a journey from when we first did it on PC. It was the hardest part, especially was separating caves, because caves requires a lot of. It's very difficult to have one player up in the caves and 3 down below, and how are we going to handle that? You can do that now in this game, and it took a lot of work to make that happen. There was just a lot of technical work getting the game, which was originally designed to be a single-player, very lonely, desolate experience, and then adding people to it. And what does that mean in terms of balancing for character abilities, monster damage and hit points, and how much food's in the world and stuff like that. So there was a lot of balancing for multiplayer. We also give the players a lot of control over tweaking those things to their personal preferences when they set up a server and invite people to the game.
Wonderful. And you were saying there's actually different servers based on the type of games that you like to play with it.
Yeah, so we have a lobby where you can see various servers that are being played. You can have a public server, which just anybody can join. You can have a private server, which has a password on it. And then you could also just have a local game as well. When you're looking at public servers or you're advertising a public server, we have a thing in our server matchmaking that's server intentions. So you can kind of set up, are we a casual trying to survive server? Is this place like Mad Max and everybody is basically feral and trying to kill you and there's lots of PvP? You can also have a server that's PvP off and it's casual and friendly and we're just trying to build and hang out and do cool stuff.
What are the most popular, the Mad Max ones or the casual ones?
Surprisingly, actually, not necessarily casual and not crazy insane mode, but people actually teaming up to try and play the game set on a difficult setting. Like they want to survive. They want to take the challenge on of seeing how far they can get their server, how big they can build their base, just basically testing their own abilities. Because that's the thing about Don't Starve, it's very counterculture to a lot of the stuff that's out right now, where it's very checkbox, mission-driven oriented. There's no missions in Don't Starve that are inherently driving the player. The only instruction you get is don't starve, and as long as you do that, you've started down your path.
You're good to go as long as you don't starve. Now, there's also a couple different game modes. There's like survival, there's wilderness.
And it's not so much that they're dramatically different game modes. I would say that it works into how you want to play in the server in terms of endless mode, meaning that when like people die, when everyone dies, people are ghosts, but they can resurrect and stuff. A true survival mode is like everyone dies, the server's over. That's it. The server's end. You can try to challenge that map generation again, or you can roll the dice and make a whole new map, because every single map in the game it's procedurally generated. So it's different every single time you play. But the server settings are basically kind of left up to the host, and that goes into all the fine-tuning of how much of this monster do you want? Do you want these seasons? How long is day? How long's night? And you can get really nitty-gritty into custom details for the servers.
Well, that's awesome, and that makes it great for replayability, because then you can customize it a completely different way every single time.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I like a lot. That's awesome. So go back for a little bit about when they turn into ghosts, because if you are playing and you become a ghost, you don't have the same powers anymore, though. You're a little bit dim.
That's correct. So when you become a ghost, which was a mechanic that was introduced to Don't Starve Together, because we didn't really know what would happen when a player would just die. Is that just it? Is it over? So when you become a ghost, there's different settings that you can have in the game. Sometimes it's you're just permanently a ghost until you solve that problem, or you have a limited amount of time as a ghost to resurrect yourself. And the reason we have the ghost mechanic is it allows you an opportunity to resurrect yourself, either by finding resurrection statues that are kind of strewn across the world, or through items that you've prepared for in case that this happens, which like the Telltale Heart, another player must give it to you. Whereas there's other things like the meat effigy and the red gem, which using the only power you have as a ghost, which is to haunt things, you can haunt things, and certain items, if you haunt them, you will resurrect yourself. And then there's other things you can haunt, like the beefalo. Sometimes if you haunt the beefalo, they poop because they get scared. And the only other thing you can do is make spooky ghost sounds. So
that's great.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. Now, can your friends share what they have with you? Like if they've prepared for it, can they like gift it to you?
Yeah, so they can basically all items in inventory in the game, with the exception of a couple character-specific items, can be given or dropped on the ground or stored in a chest for other players to acquire and take and use.
That's very cool. I love the artwork of this. It has like such like a almost Edward Gorey kind of feel to it. Like,
yeah, it was actually, I can talk on the art. The art is heavily inspired by Edward Gorey and like Tim Burton and German Impressionism kind of art, all mishmashed. And then it's also the animation styles, like when they're harvesting things or picking things up, and they have like the swooping hand animations. It's very like early Warner Brothers, like Looney Tunes kind of animation, tying it all together.
Well, it's really nice because you can pick out those different influences, but it really does have a unique look of its own.
Yeah.
It's really, and I love all the muted color palette. It's just like, it's even more desolate. Like even the land that's green is not that green. Even the grass wants you to die.
Yeah. So with the split screen that's happening here, which is debuting on PS4, it's definitely going to be something that a lot of people asked for, because they had made up their own split screen rules for the single player, where it was like, oh, every time the day cycle changes past the controller, we're like, man, we should really just make split screen. And so we finally did it. And the cool thing is that if you start a split screen game like they've got going on now, well, that's a server that's on a console, and your friend could go home and boot up their PS4 and then reconnect to that server, and you can continue the game. Basically, split screen just has two players. It's no different than going online and playing from your own console.
And I love that option. I think I would love for if more games would have the couch co-op option and the online option, and this has both, and you can actually pick up right where you left off.
Yeah, it's surprising that there isn't a lot more of them, and it's obviously in demand. We won an award in the PlayStation booth because from a company that was basically supporting the fact that we had couch co-op in a game, and not enough companies have that in their games.
Well, we thank you for it, and we thank you for bringing it to the PS4. That's exciting. So we're looking that hopefully it'll come out toward the end of 2016?
Yeah, we're looking. It's our schedules to have it come out this year. We're hoping to have a more firm date coming up in the near future. But
awesome.
In the world of Don't Starve, I can also say that the single-player standalone, which is Shipwrecked, is coming out within probably the next 60 days here. So we should have
that's awesome.
An announcement for an exact date. We're very close to being able to pick a date. So lots of Don't Starve is coming to PS4.
All of it is coming very, very soon. We'll just definitely check in with the PlayStation.Blog. They'll have all the dates when that is once released to us. When we are in the know, we will let you know.
PlayStation